I am going to get started and do this even though no one's here yet. So maybe someone will show up partway through, maybe not, I don't know. I'll have the recording. So if you're watching this on the recording, you rock. I love you. You're my hero. Oh, maybe I shouldn't point at the screen or the camera. That doesn't seem like the best thing. Anyways, thank you so much for coming or watching the recording, whichever you're doing now. My name is Chen. I like to write email copy. It's one of the things I love to do. And yeah, let's go have at it. I today wanted to walk you through the process that I go through to write my own emails, both for myself and for my clients. Generally, it takes me about 20 minutes or less to write emails, and I usually get pretty high conversions. Just about 6 weeks ago, I was writing for a client and we had a launch, and in 4 days, like from the moment we talked about the product to the moment that we closed the doors on the sale for the product, we made 120, I think I didn't get the exact number, but it was 125,000-ish in 4 days. That was a first for me. That was awesome. I was really, really stoked. They were really stoked. And in total, we sent about 8 emails. And what was awesome was that I was able to write all of those emails really, really quickly and kind of come up with this campaign without really pre-strategizing it, because I've schooled myself and taught myself how to write really, really quickly. So what I wanted to do today was just go live and show you how I do that, like just kind of walk you through my thought process as I do it. And it's both for my own benefit, because I like seeing and like talking through how I actually think about something. It helps me learn what it is that I'm actually doing. You know, I'm like kind of the fish in the water, and I don't even totally know what it is, all of the things that I do. So my intention was to both share something that I think you would find really valuable in your business and help you be able to hopefully spend a little bit less time stressing about how you're going to write these emails or your Facebook posts, and show you that it can just really be relatively easy and straightforward when you learn how to do it. So I wanted to just walk you through that process. So I am just going to share my screen. And let's share my desktop. So where I like to start, this is one that I wrote this morning. We're not going to do that one. Oh God. No, go away. Minimize. There we go. So where I like to start, if I really, really don't have an idea, I've been kind of slowly collecting all of these different ideas for subject lines or for types of emails. And so I've been gathering them together, and I have a couple different lists. If people were going to show up live, I was going to share these things with the people that showed up live. But since no one's here, you'll have to just reach out to me personally and send me an email if you actually want it. So I'm actually going to pop this participants thing up just to see if people show up, so I can talk to you, because talking to you is awesome. So generally where I like to start with an email is I like to come up with some kind of a central idea first. And if I can't come up with a central idea, I will go into one of these lists of subject lines or like types of emails that I have, and I'll just go through it and I'll start seeing like, okay, what type of an idea, what kind of thing is just like kind of pulls my attention in that moment. One of the ones that I was thinking about writing when I was thinking about what should I write for this presentation, was just doing one of these one-word subject line, and these ones have gotten really, really good open rates. The key is that you have to tie in what you talk about in the email to what the subject line actually is. So sometimes people will just use like the latest technique or the latest tactic so that people get their emails opened, but then they talk about something totally different in the actual like meaty content portion of the email. And when you do that, it just breaks trust, and it's just not a good thing to do. Don't do that. So let's see. Let's just pull out. Okay, well, what I kind of wanted to do for this one was, because as I was sitting down, or like 45 minutes ago, and I was like, oh God, what am I going to write? Um, One of the easiest things that you can do if you really don't know what to write is just write about your present state experience. Especially if you're a coach or someone like that and you're building a relationship with your audience. One of the big purposes of email is not only to generate leads, but also to nurture people who are not yet ready to become your customers. So one of the amazing things to do that can help you nurture that relationship and develop that relationship with them is to just write about your present state experience. And so what I like to do is I always like to start with a subject line, and you can kind of go back and change it. But I was thinking, I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger, the text, so you can really see it. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So one of the things that I know my audience and my people struggle with is kind of knowing what to write. So what I want to do when I'm thinking about the subject line is actually I'm going to relate my experience of not knowing what to write to them, and I'm basically going to show them like just a different way of thinking about it or something like that. I never really know exactly what I'm going to write before I start. I just like to come up with that idea. So I know that one of the things that my audience struggles with is coming up with ideas for what to write. So I'm going to actually call that out in the subject line, because anyone that is struggling to come up with ideas about what to write is going to be like, oh, I want to read that because, I want to know. So really, really simple thing that you can do in the subject line is just what to do when you don't know what to write. That's kind of a long subject line. I like to keep it under 7 words, but we can come back and mess with it later. So just go with, hey. Hey. Let's see. Let me get into my writing zone rather than presenting zone. Give me 1 second. There we go. Well, okay. That's not too good, but I don't know if I'm going to go with that. So for this, I was going to go towards this idea of like the list, and doing like a kind of checklist or list type thing, and I could list off like different ideas that you could use to come up with ideas. But what I really wanted to do with this one was actually tell a story and show you how you can just integrate stories from your everyday experience into your emails and how it can be really effective. What I like to do with this first line here is create some sort of a connection. The purpose of that first line after, the purpose of the subject line is to get the email opened. The purpose of the first line is to get that second line read and to pull them into the email itself. So nobody likes staring at a blanking cursor. Anyone who's ever struggled with writing, like sitting there with a blank cursor and not knowing what to write, is going to say yes. No, but I don't like that either. And then I'm just reaffirming basically what I've already said. I'm creating and solidifying that kind of empathetic connection with these second ones. So what I could do here now is either make a promise. Below you'll find three ideas. Three ideas to help you come up with your next big writing idea. Okay. And so I'm making a promise. I'm saying they're gonna get three ideas to help them come up with their idea. But what I really want to do is tell a story, right? I want to create more of a bond with them. So I've made this promise. That's what's keeping them around. Now what I want to do is tell a story. But before I get to them, actually, no, I don't even want to do that. I'm just going to change this up. I keep going back and forth, so I don't recommend that you go back and forth. It's not always the best, but you'll see what I mean, how it all comes together. So nobody likes staring at a blank blinking cursor. You know you have a lot to say, but what should you say? Coming up with the right idea for your email or Facebook post can be difficult. Even today, just 45 minutes ago, I was having a minor freakout moment. I was scheduled to go live on my email copywriting open house presentation and write an email live. In my mind, I was thinking, what if I totally blank? If I have no idea what to write? So here I'm telling a story to like deepen my relationship with the reader and show them that they're not alone in their experience of that problem, of not knowing what to write. Like even someone who writes for a living still has the problem, you know? And I was thinking, what if I totally blank? What if I have no idea what to write? And what if my whole presentation bombs? If everyone finds out I'm a fraud. Everyone believes that they're a fraud on some level. And I've been doing this for 3.5 years and I still think I'm a fraud. Needless to say, those aren't the kind of thoughts I wanted to be having before the invitation. And it hit me. Well, but then it hit me. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with my people. So often as entrepreneurs and coaches, we want to show everyone that we have it all together. Think if people see our vulnerability, they won't trust us with their money, basically. In fact, I've found the opposite is true. And you can authentically show your vulnerable side. people trust you more? Especially when everyone is showing how they have everything together, you'll stand out like a sore thumb if you do the opposite. What else is doing? See, so here I know that people want to stand out from other people, so I'm just connecting. I'm showcasing a new idea, and I'm connecting to that desire that I know that they have. You want to stand out. You want to be different. You want to be different than what everyone else is doing. So if everyone else is pretending that they have it all together, then showing that you have some vulnerabilities and showing that you don't have everything together and doing it in the right way is, you're actually start making yourself stand out. The opposite is also true. If everyone's pretending to be vulnerable, you can take the tact of calling everyone that's using their vulnerability to get attention out. I wrote an email about that a while back. So it's hard. So what I like to do when I write is to get into as much of a flow state as possible. And so what I'm doing now is I'm kind of breaking my flow state by coming out. So I recommend whenever I'm coaching someone that one of the first things that they implement in their writing practice is to not edit while they write. You'll notice I'm just going through and I'm writing. If I felt like there was something horribly wrong with the email or something that I noticed, okay, I really need to change that, I would let myself change it then. But I usually don't edit very much because by this point I've trained myself on like what I know is going to work and what's not. And it's just a skill. It's something that's like a muscle that you build over time. So, but because I'm breaking out and talking through this, I just want to go back through. And one of the great things that you can do to get back into that flow in your train of thought is to just start reading it out loud. So, in my own mind, I was thinking, what if I totally blank? What if my whole presentation bombs? What if everyone finds out I'm a fraud? Needless to say, those kinds of thoughts were not the kind of thoughts Those here were not the kind of thoughts I wanted to be having before a presentation. But then it hit me. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with my people. So often as entrepreneurs and coaches, we want to show everyone that we have it all together. We think if people see our vulnerability, they won't trust us with their money. In fact, I found the opposite is true. When you can authentically show your vulnerable side to people, people trust you more. Especially when everyone is showing how they have everything everyone else is showing how they have everything together. You'll stand out like a sore thumb. You'll stand out like a sore thumb if you do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So, with the encouragement from my sweetie Robin, who said, if you don't know what to write, just write about that. I decided to write about not knowing what to write, which is the basis of this email. Because really, even though I've been doing this for over 3 years, even though I write for a living every day, I still get stumped about what to say. So here are a few ideas, tips, or tricks you can use to come up with your own ideas. And you don't know what to write. I'm saying a few here. I'm going to go back and change that to exactly how many ideas I come up with, because specificity works really, really well. Whenever you're writing anything, you want to be really, really specific. So I'm going to say a few there, but I know I'm going to go back and change it because I don't know how many ideas I'm going to come up with. So one, write about not knowing what to write and tie it back to the experience your audience is having. To look at Facebook trends or Google Trends. Go Trends, write about a current news thing and give your opinion. Story, right? 3, go for a walk and get out of your head. It's easy to get stuck in your head. Change your environment. Change your mind. When you change your environment, you change your mind. So those are 3. Of course, these are just 3 ways. When I'm working with my clients, I share my other 27 ways of coming up with ideas. With proven, okay, coming up with ideas that are proven to naturally get attention. How to write to them so they convert into clients. Sign up for a free 30-minute phone consultation. I'll ask you a few questions about working and what's not for you. And in your writing, client attracting efforts, and share it's just guidance or perspective. How to up-level your marketing. Go here, sign up, link, and signature. Talk soon, Chen. Wrote this email live. Later. Okay, so let's walk through this really quick. I just wanted to get through that and finish it. So, right here, so this this section is I told a little bit of story, and I was like, this is what happens with me, you know. Then it creates a little bit of connection. Someone's already into the email because I've made some, you know, promises, and I've empathized with their problem. And then I did a little bit of a perspective shift, and I gave a new perspective on on the problem itself. Like, and even I took their perspective of, oh, maybe it is that I don't know what to write, but really maybe you could just, you know, share more of your vulnerability, and that's totally fine. And then I said, and then I tied it back into my story and what I was talking and why they're actually reading the email, which is because they're wanting to know what to do when they don't know what to write. So I'm basically just telling the story of my own process and how I came to the realization that I should just write about not knowing what to write. And I share a little bit of my personal thing with, this is my sweetie, Robin gave me the idea. And then I was like, that's perfect. And then I, share, even now I still struggle with coming up with what to say. And then in this section, I just share 3 things that someone can use. So here, I was going to go back. Here are 3 ideas, tips, and or tricks that you can use. And then I share some things that they're going to find valuable. They can totally use them and come up with new ideas. And then I transition into my little pitch, which is just like a regular, pretty soft pitch, which is just, these are just 3 ways. When I'm working with my clients, I share the other 27 ways of coming up with ideas that are proven to naturally get attention. So where a lot of people struggle is this transition to the call to action and the transition to like the pitch without sounding pitchy. So because I've empathized with their problem, I've shared a story, I've given them some things that they can actually take action on, I've given them some value. Now I can basically transition into expanding on the problem itself and offering like more solution. So someone that is reading this email of not like wanting to know what to do when they don't know what to write is going to be interested in more ways than just these 3 of coming up with things to write. So then I share that I have more ways that I share with my clients. These are just 3. And then I name the problem again and just transition and tell them what to do to sign up for a session. And I tell them what we're going to do, on the session, so they're not like freaking out, or it's not just like this mystery thing. And then I give them the link or I give them a direct, like, go here to sign up. If I wanted to even, this is just kind of my style, but a lot of people, it can be really helpful to actually be really, really specific. To sign up for your free 30-minute consultation, click the link below and find a time in my calendar that works for you. And then, so that's basically, I'm telling them exactly what to do. And so when they get to the next page, which is a link to my calendar page, they're kind of pre-framed that they're going to have to select a time. And then this is actually the link. There's a couple different ways of doing links. You can just put the raw link. I found that works really well, actually. Or you can do the whole like hyperlink. You can say, click this link, click this link, and then make that the hyperlink. And then that can just be the link in your email. I generally only like to do 1 link in my emails and just leave it at that. And sometimes I like to do PS. I know some people are like really gung-ho PSers because everyone reads the PS, or it's one of the most read parts of your email. And I kind of leave it up to you and your style. If you train your list to expect a certain type of email from you, then it's totally fine. Like, you can not include a PS. If I was doing some kind of a launch or something like that, where I really wanted someone to see something, I would include a PS and just reiterate the main points that I wanted them to see in the email. Or I would just directly tell them, like, I would write a specific email, like, please do this action. If you want someone to sign up for something or something like that. So that's kind of the walkthrough of my process for writing email. And I notice Susan is here, so that's awesome. Welcome, Susan. I'm going to promote you to a panelist, and you will rejoin that way. Hey, Susan. I'm going to unmute you. There you go.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're the one that showed up.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Oh, yeah. I'm the only live critter here.
You are the live participant, so you get all of my attention now. But I just finished going through writing this email, if you wanted to, I was just going to go through and actually, the thing that I do after I write anything is I like to read it out loud as my editing process. So I was just going to go through and read it, and then you can see how I kind of go through and edit as I read. Yeah. And then you can see this whole email that I wrote too.
Okay.
Yeah. And afterwards, if you have any questions or anything like that,
yeah,
answer any questions you have.
Okay. Yeah. What to do. The subject is what to do when you don't know what to write.
Yeah.
That's always the thing. And then once you decide what to write, it's, well, how do I get my, big toe in the water to start the conversation? What do I want to say? What do I want them to ultimately do? Or what am I giving to them?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have probably made this email even a little bit better just by having that. Like, I made my transition to the call to action was more along the lines of coming up with more things to write. But that would have been an even better thing to say, now you know what to write. And now it's like, how do you actually write it and get them to take action? So I could change that really quick, but I'm going to read through it and then I might change it because you just gave me an even better idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're totally right. It's like, once you know what to write, it's like, how do you actually write it and how do you say it?
Yeah, how do you get your big toe in there? That's exactly where I'm at right now. So.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, maybe this will help you out.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to backtrack a little bit, what I explained earlier when I was just talking through my process with it is like how I came up with this subject line was I was actually, as you'll see, I was sitting before this call, I was sitting outside and I was like, what if I don't know what to write? And I go and I'm writing something and I don't know what to write. And then I was like, oh, I know that people that I work with struggle with the same thing. So why don't I just write about not knowing what to write about? Right. And so that's what I was explaining. The subject line is I know that I'm calling out a specific problem that I know my audience has. So they're automatically, if anyone struggled with knowing what to write, and even you came on and you're like, oh my God, that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit about the subject line. And then this first line is I like to basically empathize with the pain. So once someone opens the email, which is the point of the subject line, then I want them to keep reading and go deeper into it. So I like having this first line be a very direct, like either an empathizer line or a yes or a no question. Generally, I want them to be saying yes because I'm like getting those little mini commitments of the yeses. So usually I like to have this first line be a yes phrase or question that I'm sure they will answer yes to. So it's just to walk through once getting them to read the rest of it. So what to do when you don't know what to write? And it's, hey, nobody likes staring at a blinking cursor. You have a lot to say, but what should you say? Coming up with the right idea for your email or Facebook post can be difficult. Even today, just 45 minutes ago, I was having a minor freakout moment. I was scheduled to go live on my email copywriting open house presentation and write an email live. Well, see, this is why I read it out loud. While in my mind, I was thinking, what if I totally blank? What if I have no idea what to write? What if my whole presentation bombs? What if everyone finds out I'm a fraud? Needless to say, those were not the kinds of thoughts I wanted to be having before a presentation. But then it hit me. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with my people. So often as entrepreneurs and coaches, we want to show everyone that we have it all together. We think if people see our vulnerability, they won't trust us with their money. In fact, I found the opposite to be true. If you do it in the right way. When you can authentically show your vulnerable side, people trust you more, especially when everyone else is showing how they have everything together. You'll stand out like a sore thumb if you do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So the encouragement from my sweetie, Robin, who said, if you don't know what to write, just write about that. I decided to write about not knowing what to write. Right? Which is the basis of this email. Because really, even though I've been doing this for over 3 years, even though I write for a living every day, I still get stumped about what to say. So here are 3 ideas, tips, and tricks you can use to come up with your own ideas when you don't know what to write. You can write about not knowing what to write and tie it back to the experience your audience is having. So you can, even for you, it's like if I don't know what to write, you tie it back to the experience of not knowing your numbers, right? Super simple. It's that correlation. Just correlating that experience, the experience you're having to the experience they're having and how it relates. 2, look at Facebook trends or Google trends, write about a current news story and give your opinion on it and tie it back into your product. Then tie it back to your product. There you go. Go for a walk and get out of your head. It's easy to get stuck in your head. When you change your environment, you change your mind. Of course, these are just 3 ways. When I'm working with my clients, I share my other 27 ways of coming up with ideas that are proven to naturally get attention. You constantly struggle to come up with what to write to your audience. So this is good. So when I struggle, when I'm reading it out loud, I even read it out loud to myself, I know that that's a place where someone reading it is probably going to stumble as well, because I want it to sound like I'm talking. So I would go here. If you constantly struggle to come up with what to write to your audience, so that just doesn't totally come out of my mouth in a flowy way, I would rewrite this into something more. If you constantly struggle to come up with ideas for your writing and how to write them. So even that's not very good. If you constantly struggle to, I would just probably go back to this just subject line actually. If you constantly struggle to come up with new ideas for your writing, I could just end it there. Don't need to say anything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Sign up for a free 30-minute phone consultation. I'll ask you a few questions about what's working and what's not for you in your client attracting efforts, and share some guidance about how to uplevel your marketing. To sign up for your free 30-minute consultation, click this link to find out a time in your calendar that works best for you. But I also had the, click the link below. I like doing the raw link in the email. So that's cool. So, but I did want to change that because I'm going to use this email because I wrote it. Of course.
Yeah.
So the idea that you just gave me, one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is how to transition into the pitch. And so that transition into the pitch, what I like to do is to give a new perspective on the problem, or put their attention onto a larger problem or the next problem, like what you're saying, as a result of having the solution. So for this example, it would be, okay, they have the ideas of knowing what to write. Now you need to know how to write it so that it actually converts. Right? That was what I got from you. Of course, knowing what to write is just the first step.
Yes.
Now you need to write, need to know how to write.
To know how to write, so your audience, so your ideal clients, yeah. Oh, I'm dictating here.
Yeah.
So that your ideal clients
convert. I mean, basically.
yeah, convert. Yeah, I was going to say click the link below. Go where you want them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, clients, that this is where this is where I would go into my market research stuff. So it's like, now you need to know how to write so your ideal clients, and then I have, this is my market research stuff from the interviews that I did. And so this is like the big things that my people said. So, this is, a lot of people said engagement. So you need to know how to write so that people, so you get more response, more engagement. So you can actually turn your emails into clients was one of the big ones. So your ideal clients sign up, or how to write so your ideal clients clients.
Take the action you want them to in
Want
your
them to-
email.
Yep. Which is exactly what I teach in my coaching clients. And that's the whole. So this sentence is the transition into like switching their perspective into a new problem. And then this would be the transition to the pitch line, where I just say, after that, I'd just basically reiterate this same thing. I'd tweak it a little bit to be more in line with that that transition. So, yeah. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Yeah.
And what do you do if you write every day and you are in that groove? It's what you do. It's who you are. And so you are in touch with your audience. What do you do when you're not consistently sending your newsletter or your emails out, and you want to warm them up? You want to re-engage because you do have an offer you want to put out there, but you just can't, regurgitate it when you haven't spoken to them in like 2 months. So
why not?
What?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought that you had to. I thought, quite frankly, that would be impolite in terms of business. Like, what the heck? I haven't heard from this one in so long, and now, all she does is contact me when she has something to sell. So I was told not to do that. But that leaves me then not knowing what to do. How do I fill that gap? And then again, my program is going to begin shortly. And so I do want to get in there and say something to them, And so
I would start out with something like what I just did. Share something valuable that relates to, the big problem that your program solves. And then share just like the style of email that I just wrote would be perfect, because
it would be.
You're just telling a story. You don't need to be apologetic or tell them that you haven't emailed them in 2 months, because they don't know. Like, they don't really, they're not really going to care or notice. They might think, oh, I haven't heard from Susan in a while, or some, like something like that. But you can just slide yourself right back in there and tell a story, relate to call out the big problem that your program solves. Give them some tips of what to do, not how to solve, what to do to solve the problem, not how. And then tell them that if they want, if they really want to solve the problem, you have a good program, and come in. There's your entry right there.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. I'm really in my head about it, obviously. So making a big deal out of it and trying to get it perfect, trying to get it right. I got to have it all figured out, laid out on paper, spreadsheets and graphs and I don't know, whatever, before I actually write it, and then that's just not needed. No, got it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some of the other things that you can do, you can, there's a common question that people have that relates to your topic. You can, make the subject line that question. Like, mine was just what to do when you don't know what to write, because I know people have a question. What do I do when I don't know what to write? So I just answer the question. I mean, it's like any of those things are going to be, it's just, give a little bit of value and help them see their problem in a better way. And then you have a perfect little transition into your offer. And the way around she only contacts me when she has something to sell me is to always include some kind of a pitch in your emails, because then they just expect it.
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you join my list, I think you're on my list.
I am on your list. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So you see, like I make a plug for
Mhm.
my free session every single email, but I also like
Yeah,
try to
you
make it.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
You do. Yes, you do. Yeah. Okay.
I'm in business. You're on my list
Mhm.
because I'm in, like, I'm a
Yeah.
business. I'm selling
Mhm.
something. So
Right.
I'm not going to beat around the bush and like try and hide that I'm going to sell something. Like I'm selling
Mm.
something, but
Mhm.
I'm going to make my messages valuable to you as the reader so that
Mm.
you are
Mhm.
engaged and you feel like you're getting something out of it. And
Mm.
you're
Mhm.
also, so that keeps you engaged and coming
Yeah.
back. But
Yeah.
you're not like, oh my God, he's pitching me. Like, oh my God, he only contacts me when he has something to sell.
Yeah, that's right. That's just an internal dialogue. That's me saying that. It's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, right, right. Because I do send my list, other things. I'm on summits as an expert. I send them, educational stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just get out of my head about it and write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
you help. I mean, even you could tie, like, one of the reasons why I love email is because you can tie your current personal, like, thing that you're working on
Mm-hmm.
into an email then relate it to your product or service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can relate that experience that you're just talking about of like, I don't know if I want to get in touch with people, or I don't know if, XYZ, they'll just feel like I'm selling to them all the time. You can write about that and then tie it back to their experience of whatever problem they're struggling with. The key is just always making it relevant to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you're sharing your own personal experience, building that bond, relating it back to them because that's what they're going to feel is valuable. And then
Mm.
transition at the end to making a soft pitch for your thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All righty.
Thanks for popping on.
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you so much.
Of course.
And I really appreciate the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Take it easy and I'll see you. I'm sure I'll be seeing you, next month in another group. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be over there.
Yeah, me too. All right. I'll
Awesome.
see you on the other side.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.